Okay, everybody, let's take it from the top.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Hi, ho, everybody, and welcome back to D Plus Us, the show about all things Disney. I'm one of your hosts, Griffin Tennell, Griffey D-Pad, and with me, as always, is the wonderful, the amazing Mr. Mitch George. How's it going?
I had to restart my audio processor, and in doing so, forgot to turn on my background blur. So you're just seeing the mess that is my office if you're watching this on YouTube. So
It's really not that bad. We have two very different styles of background here. Yours is clean, and mine is chaos.
That's a step stool. It's a step stool, an extra dresser, and then just a whole bunch of geeky stuff on top of that dresser.
Yes,
like
but
there's
again,
a lightsaber, there's a Megazord, the Up House, there's a Pokeball in there.
Clean versus chaos. There's nothing put
fair.
together about my background other than just a bunch of stuff.
We're not here to talk about our backgrounds, Griffin.
We'll probably talk about it multiple times in this episode, though, because that's just what we do. Hi, folks. Welcome back to the show. It's been a little bit. We are talking about Disney's newest movie, Wish. This movie is still currently in theaters as of recording, so it is not on Disney Plus yet. I'm going to hit y'all with some facts before we jump into this. Actually, not even going to do that. We're going to start right off the bat with general impressions. You know, the way this works. Everything is kind of free flow these days. We'll hit y'all with
what is structure? We don't do that here.
Pieces of housekeeping before we jump into things. Of course, go check out our TikTok. I'm going to be starting posting videos again here soon. Frankly, there will probably be clip outs from this episode on there if I do this thing right. Second, sorry for being behind on posting episodes on Spotify. I'm bad at it. I've accepted it. I'm getting better at it.
Don't worry about it.
If you want things
It's all
on,
good.
if you want things on time, go to YouTube. That upload process is significantly easier.
Just DM me and I'll poke Griffin to push buttons because
Yeah.
I would push the buttons. I just don't know which buttons need pushed and when.
The hard part is honestly just getting myself to make the audio file. That's all I have to do. It just takes time, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. Got that.
I can just do that. I can just do that for you. It's no big deal.
Yeah,
just rip it from the video.
next time. And then the last bit of information is our weekly series right now about Behind the Attraction is currently going. We have one episode up at the time of releasing this, and the next episode will be coming out right behind this, and it's a solid episode. Did we record it before this episode records?
Nah.
Yes, we did. Time is a flat circle. Time is a lie. With that said, let's talk about Wish. Directed by Chris Buck and Fawn. I'm going to butcher this name. I'm so sorry. Vera Sunthorn. No, I think I got that right. Screenplay.
Sunthorn, yeah.
Yeah.
You're close.
Screenplay by Jennifer Lee and Allison Moore, with story by Jennifer Lee, Chris Buck, Fawn, Vera Sunthorn, and Allison Moore. It's just the directors and the screenplay writers. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Starring the folks you expect: Anya DeBose, Chris Pine, Alan Tudyk, Angelique Cabral. Released officially on November 22nd, 2023, with a runtime of 95 minutes, a budget of roughly $175 to $200 million, and a current box office of $82.2 million. This movie is very much flopping. There's a whole lot longer conversation about all of this that we've been having for the last fucking year and a half. But Mitch, what do you think about Wish?
Fine.
Expound. We are a podcast.
Nah, that's enough. I don't say this very often when it comes to movies like this because I'm all about, quick, succinct runtimes. This feels like a movie that needed like another 20 minutes of character development, where it felt very much, at least to me, like it's this swan song to 100 years of Walt Disney animation. It's got all of these Easter eggs and tidbits that link it to the history of Disney, with the premise being the wishing star that everyone has wished on in the history of Disney, and the implications of that are kind of raised throughout the film. But there just doesn't, for a film that carries that legacy, the characters are just kind of whatever. They fall relatively flat, at least for me. There isn't, outside of Grandpa the Asha's grandfather. Like, I don't particularly care about anyone in this except for maybe Valentino, but that's just because he's adorable. So
I like Asha,
yeah, I mean, it's
and I like Star, but that's about where it ends for me.
even Asha. I feel like there's almost like they tried to develop a character there with like the history of her and her father and what that means and the implication of the stars and everything. It just feels kind of like they knew they needed to make a movie about a star and found a way to shoehorn some sort of character development into it, which just still doesn't feel like it matters. Like, at least for me, the stakes aren't really there of like, oh yeah, everyone's kind of like given their wishes for protection. Oh no. But like, it doesn't, like, the implication is there. I think the underlying tones of following your dreams and all of that exist. It, again, most of what is being delivered here, other than a few of the musical numbers, feel like it needed some more time and development.
I think Wish for me is very much a mixed bag. There's a couple of things in this movie that I actually really, really enjoy. Some of the music tracks are fantastic.
There's some bangers in here. For
Yeah,
sure.
like a couple of these are going to go into like some of my all-time favorite Disney songs.
At All Costs, I think, is my favorite song in the movie.
It is very good. But like the animation style, I actually really like it. I think this is a really good step forward. I think some of the character design, actually, the characters do look cool, especially, Asha's character design. What to love it or hate it with the whole Seven Dwarfs motif with her friends. Her characters are fun. Seeing her best friend be disabled is very great to see in this budget of a movie. I do think that the actual
being
magic
played
is
by
cool.
an actor, like, just to go back to that for a second, like being played by an actor with a disability, I think that representation matters a lot. And I'm glad to see that happening in more mainstream productions, this being one of those.
Mm-hmm. I think my main issue with this movie, though, is for every great thing it does, it gets immediately pulled back down by some nod to something else in Disney lore. This movie was very much made for the 100-year anniversary, and they very much felt like it had to be there. And you can see the bits and pieces of a story, of a very interesting story, I think, in this. Like, this whole story of, like, yeah, it is, her giving back these wishes for people, but it's a lot, it could have been a lot more than that. There is this, like, inkling of what do you do when you see something that has been in place for so long that is clearly wrong. Everyone is telling you to stop, but you can't. You are already going. Like, that, I think, is a very powerful story that you can tell, especially right now, when you look around the world as it is today.
Yeah.
But it very much just kind of falls flat because, oh, we have to make sure that all of her best friends are the Seven Dwarves. Oh, this random bear and deer have to be Little John from Robin Hood and Bambi. Like, I'm all for a fun Easter egg here and there, but this was just over the top frustrating. Not even annoying, frustrating.
So I was texting you a little bit about our theater experience before we got to the movie, but I didn't get a chance to tell you about how it actually went. So we got tickets to see this on like a random Thursday a week or so after it had come out. There were 4 people in the theater, including the 2 of us, myself and my wife. The other couple in the theater left the movie when there was about 10 minutes left. So for the last 10 minutes, we're the only ones in this theater. And it speaks volumes to at least Disney as a box office pull right now. It doesn't feel like, I don't know what it is, because you look at the last couple of films, like you had Strange World that flopped. Before that, you had Encanto, which, I mean, did phenomenally digitally and through streaming, but box office wise, didn't hit the numbers that Disney would have probably wanted it to hit. But that, I mean, largely likely due to the COVID-19 pandemic that was still running rampant at the time. I think that was one of the last movies that came out while theaters were still open. Or no, it came out after theaters had started to reopen, but it did much, much better on digital.
Yeah,
so
it's interesting
just,
right now with Disney Animation.
I don't know what it's shifted.
Yeah, I mean, Disney Animation is the only animation studio that isn't making massive strides forward when it comes to animation style. Disney has been stuck in the same animation style for years upon years because it's worked, because it has made them millions. This being the first year that Disney doesn't have $1 million movie. Like, I really do think that this is going
across
to,
all of its properties is kind of crazy. Yeah,
I really think that this is going to bring some change-ups to the animation style because it has to. Like, you can't look at this and say, okay, we should just keep doing the same thing. That said, I think a lot of it is also just where Disney is at in the terms of the world right now. Disney does lean towards a younger audience that typically doesn't necessarily want to support the giant media mogul monopoly that is the Walt Disney Company, which is something I will always, always respect. It is something I try to bring up constantly on the show. Like, hey, we're a Disney podcast. We love Disney stuff. Disney's still a ridiculously powerful company, and it's absolutely terrifying. But I think we have all of these kind of combinations and factors of, hey, Disney's not always making the right decisions. Sometimes they do when it comes to the actual world as large. And then we also have this kind of, to compare it to video games, like when Xbox was like, oh, we've been the predominant console for God knows how long, we're going to just fuck everything up and just continue to do the same thing. And then PlayStation goes and it's been the dominant console ever since.
TV.
Look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I think that that's where we're at with Disney right now.
Yeah, I think it was... Yeah, I think looking at the last few releases as well, I mean, probably going back as far as the completion of Raya, like Raya, Encanto, Strange World, and now Wish, the last 4 Disney animated films, they would have either been largely in production or in the stages of post-production during the pandemic. And I do wonder how much of a shift in work culture or production culture impacted this, because animation is one of those things that was even with the pauses in a lot of movie and television production, animation was one of those things that could still happen, right? It's largely a digital medium these days, apart from like voice acting and things of that nature. So if that's the case, what corners had to be cut in order to meet certain production timelines for animation in this strange new world of remote work or hybrid work, or however it is that these organizations are looking to produce these pieces of content. I do wonder if some of that creative, it is going to be cliche, some of that creative magic was lost in the shuffle of how crazy the last half decade or almost half decade have been, which talking about it in terms of that scope is kind of fucking crazy. I apologize for the language, but
okay, they haven't cursed 4 times already today.
Yeah, it's fair. It's really changed a lot about how this stuff is produced, and I do think we're seeing a trend across all industries, not just film and television, of remote work is a thing of the past, unfortunately, in a lot of situations. And maybe this is one of those situations where, while you still want to give folks the proper work-life balance, because we know production on these sorts of things, can be a very draining process with tons of overtime expected and crunching, and it's not healthy. But did the creative suffer from the distribution of work across the consideration here? The other thing I want to circle back on is the animation style, because I know when we reacted to the trailer for this, I was really excited for a change in animation style for Walt Disney Animation. And there were times I really liked it here. There were times that it was like so-so. Like there was this weird, like, I got pulled out of it and then got pulled back in by the story, the characters.
The animation style really shines in a couple. I think it shines more often than not. Pun absolutely intended. I think where it shines the most is in magic.
Yeah.
Like the magic, both Star's magic and Magnifico's magic, looks freaking cool. Except for like one frame of Magnifico's magic. The frame. Just the random showing of
the point. I mean, the point I was trying to get at is I think this animation style is going to be really, really cool, like 3 movies from now. And that's one thing. Like, this is setting the groundwork for what Disney Animation can do differently, as opposed to the paint by numbers-esque formula we've seen from things right through from like Frozen to now where everything just looks like a Pixar movie.
Yeah, I
So
think we're
I'm
almost
curious
there.
to see what the future holds for this animation style. I do hope we're in for something different with future Disney animation, because we don't know, like, there's nothing announced for Walt Disney Animation after this movie, right?
I don't know what's next. I don't believe so, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to do a little bit of a shakeup. I think I do really think that this is a good first step, but I think the next thing that I have to do is address their character design. Their characters are the thing that very much still stands out as Disney animation style. And it's a good look. I will not tell you that it's a bad look. I think it's looked great through every movie they've put it in. I do think it needs to be adjusted and changed to, make each of your movies more unique. Every movie having the same art style does not work. And I will continue to shout that from the rooftops. I've seen some people talking about this movie. A lot of talking about this movie, frankly, has been in hyperbole, which is fucking annoying. There is no end-all be-all when it comes to this movie, y'all. But people are like, oh, I hate how this movie looks.
I
And it's because of the characters, not because of anything else.
okay.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
I do agree. Yeah, I feel like we're in a place where everyone has to have an opinion on one end of the spectrum or the other. There isn't this middle ground. Like, that's why I started this off. Like, this is a fine movie. Like, I enjoyed my time here. I'm glad it was only 90 minutes. I would have liked it to have been a little long with more character development, but it was fine. There's nothing that stood out to me. Nothing that really took away from it. There were good moments. There were not so good moments. It was fine. It was like watching an old 90s or 80s Disney animated film. Like, it didn't change my life. It was 90 minutes. I'm going to move on to the next thing.
Yeah, it feels
so
like...
yeah, I think there's room in the middle there for these kind of conversations, but everything is on one end of the spectrum or the other.
I feel like the way they promoted this movie as well has kind of contributed to that. The way that they ended up promoting this movie was putting out like one of the songs every week leading up to launch, and all of those songs got drowned out by people hating the villain song, which I don't think is that bad. It's not good,
I don't
but
love
it's not
it,
bad.
but I can.
The
but
line
it's
about
fine.
that
It's fine.
cheesy ass line that everyone hates about Rent is bad. That line is bad, but the rest of
Yeah.
it's fine.
Oh yeah,
I think that song is a example of a larger issue when it comes to Broadway and musicals in general right now. But that's not a conversation for this show. Yeah, let's
I
talk
feel like
more.
everything these days is just like sorry, I just wanted to say I came into this and so this music was written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, because I feel like everything these days has that vibe of that lyricism that kind of jumps from word to word. I don't know if that's the right, like, that's just the way I hear it or interpret it. Like, everything's like jumpy and on point, and it, like, the emphasis on each syllable in a word is something that I felt was very,
For better and
defined
worse,
in the Hamilton type of Broadway.
For better and worse, Hamilton has set the bar for current day musical theater.
Yeah.
I lean towards worse, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Hamilton
To
fans
each their
don't come
own.
after me.
Yeah. Just circling back to unannounced projects. So, like, Disney has not put a date on anything. There are 3 dates. The next 3 Novembers, actually, there is going to be a Walt Disney Animation Studios film. They don't have a project tied to any of those dates, but there are a 3rd and 4th Frozen movie, as well as a sequel to Zootopia in development. So presumably
about
of those 3, one of those will at least be a sequel.
I
We
gotta
just don't know when
imagine.
they're coming, but I would assume within the next 3 years we're going to get at least Frozen 3.
I would imagine the next Frozen movie. This is just total ballpark. Is going to be 2025. Because we
That's
don't.
what I figured is they'll do. I do wonder if they try to put a known quantity into next year with the way that the last, like, looking at the previous slate of Walt Disney films, Frozen 2 is the last sequel that Walt Disney Animation put out, and then they put out 4 straight original properties in Raya, Encanto, Strange World, and Wish. So I imagine it's time to circle back on a sequel that's just going to print the money, whether it be Zootopia or a 3rd Frozen film. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's next year and then something else is in
Even then,
25.
I don't
but
know, because like the eye of scrutiny is on whatever Walt Disney Animation Studios will put out next, and I'm not sure they want that eye of scrutiny on Frozen 3.
that they need something that's going to make money, not something that's going to be creatively
fulfilling.
pushing the envelope, I think. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's the world that we're in right now. You look at Pixar as well, right? Like their next film is Inside Out 2. They've announced that they're doing another Toy Story at some point, as well as I think there was another sequel in there that I'm forgetting, but it does feel like the Bob Iger 2.0 era is going to lean more on sequels for everything that isn't Marvel, and then Marvel is in this whole Marvel and Star Wars are in a weird space where everything Star Wars does is really cool and interesting, and everything Marvel's doing is falling flat, and they got to figure something out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Other than Deadpool 3, that's looking to be a banger.
Yeah, thinking about Pixar, I mean, I know that they have the sequel rule there, but I can't think of anything that they'd be working on right now. I know Elio, obviously, next year alongside, but that's the new original. I don't think they have any other.
Well, Elio is
sequels.
2025. Didn't it get pushed?
Oh, yeah, 2025. Inside Out is the only
Elio
one for
got
next year.
pushed, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to
So next
June
year, I think it's
2025.
only Inside Out 2.
Yeah. We also got Mufasa.
Well, and yeah, but when Bob Iger mentioned the development of more Frozen films in the Zootopia sequel, he also mentioned a 5th Toy Story film
He
is
did,
in
yes.
development. So like, that's a thing.
Well, it
that
seems
may
because
happen.
so theory hat on, right? We have the Pixar release next year. We have Elio in 2025, and then we'll have presumably two Pixar films in 2026. The current dates would be March 6th and June 19th.
Yep.
I could see one of those being Toy Story. I think those are two separate projects. I don't think either of those projects are Toy Story. I think Toy Story would be 2027. I think when Bob is talking about there being another Toy Story project, another Toy Story film, he was saying that while they were in pre-production. Because the timeline on the 2026 movies has already begun. And that timeline would have started before that announcement of there being another Toy Story
I would
film.
imagine yeah, like that was 2023, so you imagine that's at least 3 or 4 years away. From
Unless they benched a
or
project
from
to put Toy Story,
pre-production,
which
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised by them doing. But I don't know. Let's bring it back a little bit here, because I do want to talk about the actual tracks in this movie, because I do really love the music in this movie. We have, one of these days I'll actually count the number of
Sorry
songs
from like
before.
the one song.
We've got 8 songs total, one of them being a reprise. One song being a credits song, and I have no idea why it's not in the actual movie, because it might be one of the best songs on the album. Let's go bit by bit. We'll start from the beginning. Start at the beginning with Welcome to Rosas, which honestly I think is the weakest song. Setting things up.
It gave off Encanto vibes, honestly. Like what's the name of the first song in Encanto? It was basically just
The
that, but
Family
for a different
Madrigal?
city. Family Madrigal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like though that it's here and then it's done. We're like we recognize that this is just the intro. Just get through it.
Doesn't overstay its welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. After that,
I did feel like the timing of some of the music in the movie was odd. Did you get that sense? Like the music kind of came out of nowhere at sometimes.
No,
like,
the music mostly made sense for me. The only one where I felt like it randomly broke out in the song was "I'm a Star," and I felt like that was purposeful.
100%.
And it was fucking
Yeah,
hilarious.
I think you're right.
I love that song. It
All right,
is-
I'll stop interrupting you. Please go ahead.
It is pure joy. Now, I do feel like though, it feels like should have been a couple more songs in this, but maybe that's just my 4-hour Broadway musical or 2-3-hour Broadway musical brain going. But alas, next song's "At All Costs."
It was a 90-minute film with 7 songs.
Again, this movie felt like it should have been longer. Next song is
should've.
"At All Costs."
I
the
think this is
duet.
my favorite song in the movie.
Yeah, it's really great. I think this
Yeah.
is where Chris Pine
This
shines.
This one,
and you
oh,
can,
for sure.
yeah, I think this is the one where it's like this feels like the setting up of the villain song. For me at least. Next up we have "This
It's
Wish."
just, there's an emotional weight to. Sorry, just at all costs. There's an emotional weight to that song and her discovering the magic and the wishes that just resonates outside of just the theming of the movie, but just like you can think of that. Like it felt like when I heard this song, when I was just listening to it the other day, I'm like, this is like a song about family. This is a song about protecting that which you care about the most. Like it's not just about these wishes, which I think was really, really poignant in the way that it was delivered. I think DeBose and Pine both did a phenomenal job with that number.
Yeah, I mean, Ariana DeBose can do no wrong in my eyes. Everything she sings in this is top tier. Which is, speaking of the next song, This Wish, which is legitimately my favorite song in this movie. I think it is so good. It is so
This is
powerful.
the one that goes up for the Oscar.
Like, wild that in this year of, like, we've had so many amazing original songs, this needs to go up for the Oscar for no other reason than I need to see her perform this there. I need to see her perform this song.
Yes, but I also need to see Jack Black perform Peaches.
Yeah, I mean, we need that. We need Peaches, and then we also need I'm Just Ken. It's going to be the weirdest year for Best Original Song, but it's going to be fantastic.
I cannot wait.
Up next, we've got I'm a Star, which is the stupidest, funniest shit to me. I see why people would not like this song.
Alan Tudyk is the highlight. Like this song, Alan Tudyk is the highlight for sure.
But this is a song that is just fun. Like, it gives me the same vibe, not nearly in the same level of like star power, but like it gives me the same vibe of like Be Our Guest. It's like, let's just have a lot of fun in a musical number. I also just love
but
all
this
the
is where they
animals.
started to throw in all the Easter eggs that we didn't really need, right? Like
At
this
the
is where we
very
get
end, at
Bambi
the very
and Little
fucking
John
end.
and-
Also, they were there
It's
way
still
before
just
this.
like, okay, we get it. It's a Disney movie. God damn.
But it was fun it was also a very fun way to show off Star's power, I think. Alas. Next up we got The Thanks I Get, which again, fine. Nothing special.
Fine.
I do like, though, that the villain song is him just essentially trying to gaslight the town. Even though they're not there. Next is Knowing What I Know Now, which is fantastic to me. This very much... I keep going back to Beauty and the Beast for some reason right now. This felt like the mob song to me. But, like, more charged and more personal.
I can see it.
Yeah, it was one of those where it was like, I like what they're going for with this. I loved like the actual animation in it, the use of the shadows and stuff. And we still get that annoying ass frustrating Easter eggs and whatnot. Like, this is the first time we actually see the magic mirror face. But I still think the music is good. It's what I keep talking about, how like you'll have this really great thing that's just pulled back by these Easter eggs. Up next, we have the reprise of This Wish, sung by, I guess, kind of the people of Rosas. It was cool. I love this. I love this shit. It's such like a cliche movie thing, right? For like the people to stand up and join in the song that the protagonist sang. But I always love it. Like, please keep doing
Oh,
this.
1,000%. But I'm always for it. Yeah. Eventually, the cliche will get old. That day is not today.
I don't know if this cliche will ever get old. Unless, like, someone does it really terribly. But it's kind of hard to do terribly. Final song we've got for you is the credit song called A Wish Worth Making. This is what it is probably the best song on the soundtrack. But again, it is the credit song.
Yeah.
Why they didn't make this an actual musical number is beyond me. Because, God, it's good.
Well, because I think they won't just allow Juliana Michaels, who wrote the music for the film, to just have a number to be like, yeah, just go off. You've done enough work here. Just do your thing.
Mm-hmm. Juliana Michaels, who is extremely fucking accomplished.
Holy fuck, yeah.
Like, let's see. Let's look at some of the artists she's written music for. Let's see. Yeah, we got Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, Fifth Harmony. Remember Fifth Harmony? Shawn Mendes, Britney Spears, Justin Bieber, Haley Steinfeld, Gwen Stefani. Yeah, I would say that she has written some really good stuff.
She wrote Sorry, which is the most Canadian song that Justin Bieber could ever have performed. And for that reason and that reason alone, good Canadian boy in my books.
Fair enough. I got nothing. No, like I said, I think
Did
the
you
music
expect me to reference Justin Bieber's Sorry on any episode of this podcast ever?
Honestly, Justin Bieber being a Canadian, it was only a matter of time.
It was inevitable, right?
Also, isn't he
it's
from
that or I'm gonna
Toronto?
start talking about baseball with all of the. No, very much not. No, he
Where
is
is he
from
from?
a small town outside of Toronto called Stratford.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's Stratford.
Look-
This says London, but I'm pretty sure it's Stratford. Hold on.
Look, I
I'm
live
digging
in
into
both-
this. You keep talking.
I live in both a different country and the other side of this continent, so I don't know what I'm talking about for your area of the world.
Okay, he was born in London, Ontario, but raised in Stratford. So the Stratford connection was there. I'm not crazy. Stratford's a really interesting town where every year they hold Stratford is best known for the Stratford Festival, which is essentially like a Shakespeare festival that started back in the 50s and still goes on every year to this day. It's pretty wild.
Dang.
They've also had a film festival and music festival associated with it over the years. Stratford, good on you. You did the Bieber thing and you do the musical. And did you expect me to refer to Shakespeare tonight?
See, that makes
Like,
much
that's
more
the thing.
sense. That makes much more sense than Justin Bieber popping up. So,
But did you expect me to connect the two?
no, I did not. This is a weird show, folks. The show is never goes the way I'm going to expect it to go. Let's talk about the actual plot. So before we actually do the plot, Mitch, we've talked about it. We've spoiled bits and pieces. We haven't actually fully spoiled the movie, though. Do you think this is worth people seeing in theaters?
Nah. Wait for Disney Plus.
I'm gonna wait as well. I think that this is a good movie, but I think
But also, did you know that some of the actors who have performed at the Stratford Festival
no one cares, Mitch.
include Sir
no one
Alec
cares.
Guinness,
No
Christopher
one cares.
Plummer, and William Shatner, as well as Dame Maggie Smith? Like, this is a big deal. Like, you should know about this, Griffin. I'm kind of disappointed. You don't care.
I really don't. I'm not even gonna fake caring on this one. just no.
It's too late. It's too late in the
late for
evening for that.
that.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm with you on wait. I think it's a fun movie. I think it's definitely worth a watch. I don't think it's worth a $15 movie ticket. Go see something else. There's an abundance of movies out right now.
I would have been disappointed had I not used, like, we both used free, like, movie pass tickets for this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, I already bought the ticket. It's fine. We'll go. We'll get some popcorn. Pretty sure Carmen fell asleep at one point because she forgot one of the songs in the movie. Like, we were listening to the soundtrack the other day. She's like, this isn't from the movie. I'm like, yeah. Well, she's like, oh, I fell asleep to this part. Like, yeah, you did. And that's kind of indicative of the movie in general.
Even with it, me saying that, I still kind of want to go see it again. I do want to I want to study this animation style. I think the animation style warrants, if you are into that kind of thing, seeing it on the big screen. But when it comes to everything else, no. You're fine. Let's jump into the plot. We could simply go through the plot beat by beat. The plot here is very thin, so I will imagine we'll get through this fairly quickly. As typically is the case with a lot of the musicals we talk about, just a note. We've got this kingdom of Rose. Oh, wait, no, sorry. We start on a book. Mitch. Did you know that this is a reference to Snow White? Will you get used to this?
No.
Because we're about to do this for every fucking thing in this movie.
Thought that was a nice touch. Like, that hasn't
The
something
book-
they've
the
done
book
in
was
a very
nice.
long time for an original Disney princess. That I thought that was a really nice touch.
Now, I'm going to quickly take a look here before I speak out of my ass. Do you, Mitch, know what the last Walt Disney Animation Studios movie to use the book opening was?
Robin Hood?
No. It is a 3D animated movie.
Sword in the Stone?
It is a 3D animated movie.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any other ones.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me think for a second.
It was released in 2005.
Okay, that's helping.
It's a little movie by the name. You get two.
No,
seconds.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. No,
Five,
no, wait,
4,
wait.
3,
Okay.
2, 1. Final guess.
Chicken Little?
It was Chicken Little.
Yeah.
You only know that because only
Remember the mid 2000s when no one can remember anything that came out?
there's only two.
I'm like, it was either Chicken Little or Meet the Robinsons around that time, right?
Meet the Robinsons. When was Meet the Robinsons? I'm being honest. I'm just looking at a Wikipedia list.
And they were in the same. They were in the ballpark, weren't they?
I thought so, but
Or Bolt? I guess Bolt was around that time. I would have imagined it was a princess movie.
Bolt was okay. So yeah, Bolt was 2008. Meet the Robinsons was 2007, and Chicken Little was 2005. So yeah, roughly.
05.
But yeah, it was Chicken Little, which is just weird. But anyways, the movie.
That same mid.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie with an even better video game.
Not. It's not.
No, that is one of those movies that is
Okay, I'll give you. It's a better video game than movie.
That movie is one of those movies where it's not good, but it is full rose-colored glasses for me. No, we start on a book and we kind of explain the kingdom of Rosas, founded by King Magnifico and his wife Queen Amaya. He was a very powerful sorcerer who unfortunately had a dream that got crushed and destroyed because the world sucks. Shocking. Guess what? The world still sucks. He created this land called Rosas, an island in the Mediterranean Sea, where people would come and essentially on their 18th birthday give them their wishes. They would then forget about their wishes, and he would choose to grant those that he felt helped the kingdom of Rosas. Ultimately, we learned this fairly quickly. He doesn't really grant most of them. He feels like most of them would endanger his power, and so he doesn't want to do that. Because he's a selfish boy. We learn through all of this stuff once a month. Magnifico chooses one wish to be granted. We then get to meet Asha, the heroine of our story, who is interviewing for a job as Magnifico's apprentice. She gives a quick tour. It's her grandfather Sabino's 100th birthday. She's hoping that his wish will be the one that gets granted that day. It won't be. She gives us this tour. That's where we get that first song. She goes and runs into her friends, which are the Seven Dwarves for some fucking reason. Bitch, did you know that this was a reference to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs?
I didn't. And so I spent the majority of this movie having Carmen lean over and be like, hey, that's the fairy godmother's cape. Hey, that's dopey. Like, yeah, I know.
It's
Thanks.
not subtle. There's one particular line that had me laughing because of how bad and how
I had to explain the bear, which I thought was fun. I had to explain the bear to her of like, yeah, that's Little John from Robin Hood. She's like, really? But I'm just like, yeah, we gotta watch that movie, I guess.
I'm kind of shocked that we went with Little John and not Baloo. But
Baloo's a little too much on the nose. John is generic enough that
they
it could
named
just
the
be a
deer
funny thing for kids
Bambi.
who don't know Robin Hood.
They named the deer Bambi.
Yeah, that one. Again, and I'm waiting the whole movie for that deer to get got, and it didn't. So I was really disappointed by the end of this movie.
Yeah, but they do have a great bit with the deer later on. With the deer in headlights.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
That they get props for that joke. That was a good joke. But yeah, we get all this stuff. We meet the Seven Dwarves, not Seven Dwarves. All of them based around everyone. I do like that we gave Simon, who is based off of Sleepy, a reason for being so sleepy. That was kind of a fun touch of he is the only one who was 18. and had his wish taken.
Yeah. Also, Sneezy just being allergic to everything was funny. I also appreciate that each character's name starts with the same name as the dwarf, the same letter as the name of the dwarf. As if it wasn't on the nose enough, they had to do that.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. The one I forget
do
which friend.
love that, like some.
I think I just lost you for a second there, bitch. But oh well.
I'm still here. Yeah, it's been a little choppy on your side with like connectivity, but I've
I
kind of
think
just
my
powered through it at this
I think
point.
my internet's just screwed. We're already 40 minutes into this podcast. Sorry, folks. I'm not going to change it.
Yeah, there's no steering this ship in the right direction. Yeah, it's fine.
Bazima, that's the character.
Apologies. That's probably why we've been talking over each other a little bit.
Yeah, Bazima is the character. The girl who just keeps disappearing. That was such a funny bit to me. Like, her just keep...
Bashful.
Yeah, bashful. But like how she'll just disappear and then reappear and scare the shit out of not Grumpy, Gabo. So yeah, she goes talk to her
I
friends.
love that. Got like I was saying earlier. I was saying before we started, like some of the voices behind these characters, like they disappeared into these roles. Like not realizing it was Victor Garber playing the grandfather was like, oh, he has such an iconic voice. How didn't I pick that up? Or even folks like Harvey Guillen from, if you know What We Do in the Shadows, the television series, he plays Guillermo and was also a supporting character or supporting actor in the Blue Beetle movie that came out. I know this is not an HBO Max podcast. If you have not watched that movie was meant for streaming originally, and it's a really fun movie. Like everyone should go watch that. If you learn anything from this podcast about Wish, is go watch Blue Beetle. It's fun. It's real fun. The other one, Evan Peters being Simon, is one that I did not pick up on, and I really should have.
Yeah, he's really good in that role. Like I do think that like Simon is very well done.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any lines, so I can kind of see why we missed it.
Oh yeah.
But I do think it's really, really fun.
Yeah.
So the queen comes and gets Asha. Queen fucking loves Asha. These two are immediately homies. I love how much they love each other. Like the queen sees that all Asha really cares about is the people of Rosas and her family and her friends. Like she's a good person. Asha gets taken up and has probably the single worst interview I've ever seen somebody have. Like it's kind of hilarious.
I do like the fact that she's trying to become a sorcerer's apprentice, which is just she's trying to be Mickey Mouse and Fantasia. Like
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It, again, everything's a fucking reference in this movie. Like how
her grandfather was turning 100. Like, come on. We get it.
I mean, the grandpa plays "When You Wish Upon a Star" after the credits. It's actually really it's actually really cute. I really love that.
But before I forget, like the best thing about this movie for me is the fact that Magnifico will not grant her grandfather's wish, and in not granting her grandfather's wish is actually the reason why his reign ends. Like the uprising is due to him not granting the wish. The uprising is not due to the wish being granted.
Ironically,
which I think is
in not granting his wish,
that's the kind of thing you need to lean into.
In not granting his wish, he grants his wish, which I think is the storytelling that was there that gets pulled away. Like I do think that is very deliberate.
Yeah, it gets hidden by all these references.
Mm-hmm. We get this next song. Where Asha kind of learns things. And we also really learn here that Magnifico fucking sucks. He is not subtle about it, which I do really appreciate. Like, bad guy's just gonna be bad. We learned that stuff. He has Asha sit with the queen at the wish ceremony that night. So he gives the wish, yada, yada, yada. He doesn't give it to his parents. Everything is sad and whatnot. Asha runs off. She tries to talk to... This was actually one of my favorite scenes in the movie. She tries to talk to her grandpa and her mom about it. It's like, no, you guys deserve to have your wish. He's never going to grant them. You should get them back. And so you can try to make something of it on your own. And both of her grandpa and her mom are like, no, we don't want that. Do not. Absolutely not. And she takes off.
They prefer the they prefer the safety that they've been promised by Magnifico rather than the risk of, pissing the dude off.
Yeah, even if it
Essentially.
might definitively be the wrong thing, it's how things have always been, and they're comfortable in that. And I think that's where this movie, you actually kind of start to see some of the cool shit. She takes off. We get another song. We get this wish. She wishes upon the star. Star comes down. Starts granting her wishes. Gives our boy Valentino the ability to talk. Alan Tudyk. Goddamn rock star.
Greatest voice actor of our generation.
Truly the best. We get a little bit about Star. Star is adorable. Star is going to sell plushies all over the place. Although I guess we'll see with how.
Hey,
this
we
movie
said the
goes.
same thing about a couple of other characters, and it didn't happen, right? Like we said that about the blob thing from Strange World.
No, we said that they were
about,
specifically not going to do that for the Blob thing in Strange World because of the bit about it.
Oh, we also said the thing without a face that was friends with Ben Kingsley in Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Morris. Morris did get merchandised.
He got merged, but I expected that thing to like fly off the shelves, and I saw very little. Y'all are disappointing me.
Look, I'm saying this is going to be merchandised to hell and back. I'm not saying people are going to buy it.
I don't think it's going to get the merchandising push you think it is.
I think we'll get a plushie at least, and I'll buy
Movie
that plushie
tanked.
because it's adorable.
We'll
I like
see.
Star. Star's great. Yeah, we get a song.
We'll see.
Asha, Star, and Valentino go to steal back her mom and her grandpa's wishes. Her friends help her. They break in. All of this is happening. Magnifico is feeling more and more threatened. There was this big burst of light was striking him down that was all his magic, and it's threatening Magnifico. He wants any information he can get about it. So he gives us a horrible, horrible song. Asha's friends help her. She goes and eventually is able to steal the stuff. Unfortunately, as she's getting away, she gets sold out by Simon, who wants his wish to be revealed. His wish is to become the greatest knight of Magnifico. Hey, guess what that armor's from, Mitch? Because guess what? That's not an original armor.
Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, it is Sleeping Beauty, and it's Prince Philip's armor.
Is it from Sleeping Beauty?
It is from Sleeping Beauty.
Okay, I was making sure. Well, what's interesting
I think
here
this
is
is
the wish
also
is
where
granted, but
she's-
because Magnifico has like, sorry, I was just gonna say like because Magnifico is like all evil now because he read from the evil book that you're not supposed to read from because it's evil. He twists the wish and kind of like possesses Sleepy. I can't remember. Oh, Simon. That's what it is.
Yeah, he gets like
which
Simon gets more power,
is
but is also like
A
more evil.
weird way to go with it, but yeah.
Also, like if I was a citizen and saw that, clearly something was wrong. Like clearly some more evil shit was happening than normal. It was not subtle.
No, remember this is the origin of all Disney films. The trope of evil magic being green has not been established yet. So like, oh cool, we're changing color palettes. We're going from blue to green. This is fine.
Not even
Everything's
that. It's
fine.
just how he hovers in the air for like 5 seconds as he suddenly opens his eyes and looks angry. Like it's just clearly something is
it's
wrong.
Fine.
This is
Everything's
also
fine.
I think this is also where he first seen Asha in the fairy godmother cloak.
Yes.
But alas, we get more stuff. She goes home, gives her grandpa his wish back, opening the door, and it's Simon and Magnifico. They are able to run thanks to Star, and they actually get off the island. There's a hilarious bit here with Valentino talking to their horses, and the horses are like, "Oh yeah, we fuck with you."
Have we met the whole chicken thing yet, or is that later?
Yeah, we're in that. That's when they're sneaking in the first time.
Okay.
The chicken bit was funny.
Okay, yeah.
I wish the chicken,
The chicken
bit
bit
wasn't.
is essentially just be our guest.
I wish the chicken bit wasn't in the trailers. That would have been a fantastic thing to just
I agree.
discover.
Yeah.
We
I
got the
realize
chicken
I
bit.
gotta watch less trailers.
Yeah, seriously. It's too bad we react to all of them. So we got that.
Which you can find over on youtube.com/@D+us. If you're not already there, please go there, like, subscribe, share with all your friends and grandparents as you get together over the holidays. It'd be really appreciated.
Please do. Tell your dog as well. Also tell
Throw
your
one
dog.
plug.
Tell your
I'm
dog
sorry.
we love them. That's all.
Indy Griffin says he loves you.
Thank you.
Okay, done.
I miss my dog. Asha
Dogs are the best.
Asha plans to escape with the other one, but ultimately has to go back and finish the job. She rallies her friends to her cause, as well as the queen. We get again with just great bits in this movie. The way she sends a message to the queen of the mouse. The mouse is funny. Like it's
That was
another
so
reference, but it is funny.
Hey.
Love Asha.
Yeah,
I put in the
reference to
love.
the mice from Cinderella.
Yeah. They go. We have a great fucking musical number. Them amping themselves up, and they go off to fight Magnifico. They fight Magnifico. Basically, Asha's going to distract him while they release all the wishes. She does so, but in the last little, we get a great chase scene. She steals a cart. She also gets a magic wand from Star. We get a deer in headlights joke, which is great. As she's finally stopped, though, it is revealed that it wasn't Magnifico chasing her, but Simon disguised with Magnifico's magic. Magnifico comes up and starts attacking people. He's getting to absorb the power of wishes. In doing those, we get one of the funnier, stupid lines to me. Like, this was not a funny joke. This was so bad that I couldn't help but laugh, which was a direct Peter Pan reference.
Yep.
Which was a Fantasyland in the skies.
We
How
get an
about
even more direct
Neverland?
Peter Pan reference.
With Peter and Wendy.
Well,
at
no,
the end
we
of the
get an
movie.
even we get not before that. You get the wish that he destroys. That is literally the scene of Peter flying in the air.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
over
about.
London.
And when he's
And then he
destroying
references
it, when he's
I
destroying
totally missed
it,
that.
the line he
Yeah,
says
yeah.
is,
And then we
"A
get a Mary
Fantasyland
Poppins
in the sky. How about Neverland?" That is the line he says as he destroys that wish. That's what I'm talking about. When some things in this movie are just
Certainly
straight bad.
choice. Yeah.
That's the one that stuck with me, and that's not the line that should be sticking with you in this movie. But yeah, they go up.
No.
They eventually are able to release all of the wishes out of the chamber by opening up the ceiling. It's actually pretty cool. I love that they have to jump. It's very cute. But Magnifico ascends up and traps Star and begins to absorb the power. Asha is able to make it back somehow. And goes up to face Magnifico. As he's doing so, Magnifico blocks out the sky, saying that no one that will ever wish upon a star again, which I think is actually kind of cool. Also, he also drains all the power of the these dream orbs, causing them all to just fall to the roof, which looks dope. Asha and the citizens all kind of rise up again together, wishing to change Rosetta's future, giving us the reprise of this wish. The power of all of them together, each of them being stars within their own right. Kind of this theme going back through all of this is that the whole idea of we were all made from stardust to stardust we shall return. Which is something I really like in this movie. It's why I like I'm a
Power
star.
of positive thinking triumphs all evil. Yay!
It's a Disney
Good
movie.
job, people.
No, I do like the idea though of the stardust stuff. I do think that's fun. I never thought we'd see that in a Disney movie.
That's a neat thing to explore. Yeah, it's
Except that
it's a
they
neat thing
don't
to
really
but just
explore it.
exactly. They win by being positive. Go you.
See, I don't think it's that. They win by being united. And I think that is something that we could pull away from. again, I am reading way more into it than any other person will, but that's how I justify it, at least.
Sure.
They overpower Magnifico. His magic essentially backfiring on him, trapping him into his staff's mirror. As he's being pulled in, we get a brief, like, half-second frame of the magic mirror from Snow White. Because guess what? He's the magic mirror.
Yeah, that was great.
This is the one Easter egg that they didn't overdo, which I appreciated. Like, this is one of the only ones that, like, this ties in, and it's dumb that it ties in, but it actually makes sense to the character. Because he is incredibly vain. And that is his downfall. But, alas. We get some great bits with that. Everyone comes back together. Amaya becomes the sole ruler of Rosas. Simon goes and asks for forgiveness from Asha, who forgives him instantly. Simon, fucking great. Love him. 10 out of 10 character.
The best.
They rebuild the town. We get a straight up Peter Pan and Wendy in this movie. Did you know, Mitch, that those characters were a reference?
You can cut that. No, fuck off. You already had Peter Pan once. You didn't need it again.
Oh, it's so fucking bad. It's so
reference literally anything else. Give me someone who wants to start a gumbo shop or something. Like, just no. Why?
Oh,
just why?
I'm so shocked that they didn't, like, with the amount of Peter Pan references they have. I'm shocked that none of them were a second star to the right. Like, none of that in the movie about a
Griffin,
star.
Did you know that Peter Pan was a Disney film? Apparently, they really wanted you to know this after you came out of this theater.
Oh, so this is what it's like to have my own bits
Peter
turned
Pan and
against
Wendy
me.
must have flopped on Disney Plus if they're pushing this.
We did an episode on it. It did not do well.
No, it didn't, because it wasn't good. So like,
no one
oh,
cared.
Yeah, we got to push people to Disney Plus. Let's reference all the things we want them to go and watch. Like,
by the
Robin
way,
Hood,
don't
like
go back
Peter
and
Pan
rewatch
Wendy,
Peter Pan.
like
It is not.
Mary Poppins Returns.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not like straight up like a Wreck-It Ralph reference.
If you were to recommend one thing that is not like either directly or indirectly referenced here, and I know it references every Disney animation film ever at the end, but if you had one recommendation coming out of this, Griffin, of rather than going to the theaters to see this, what would you pop on a Disney Plus to want to feel that same level of nostalgia? What would your reco be?
That is hard.
So I have mine.
Look, maybe it's just because it's the season right now, but like, my brain is fully on Muppet Christmas Carol at the moment.
Of course it is.
Like, I got the record. It's been playing almost nonstop since it became December. If I had to give one thing, though, honestly, it's not referenced to the movie anywhere, and it never will be, but Treasure Planet. That movie is still fantastic, and probably one of the best movies Disney's ever put out. We used to do an episode on it.
I'm down. I've never watched it.
Seriously?
I've never seen Treasure Planet.
Oh, fuck it. This is the next episode. We're watching Treasure Planet next.
All right, cool. I'm down. Yeah, for me, it would be my reco would be Saving Mr. Banks, which I think is just a phenomenal take on the creative process that went into making Mary Poppins into a Disney film. I know it's not animation, but it does. Mary Poppins at least gets referenced in here, so I think that's the one that I would want to say, yeah, go and watch that. It's a fantastic movie. We should do an episode on that.
Mm-hmm. If I have to bring it to actually like something that's referenced in this, I would honestly say Snow White. I think that movie needs more appreciation for just exactly what it did for Disney, and especially with us getting the live action version of it next year.
No.
I think it's going to be fairly relevant coming up. Hey, we're almost done with the movie though. We're almost there. I've got like 2 more plot points.
Yeah.
And then we can leave. We can,
all right.
We can be done with this and move on with our lives. You can finally go to sleep.
Because I'm really tired and I have to get up for work in like 6 hours, so I could use the rest.
Mm-hmm. I told you we didn't have to record tonight.
Yeah, you did, but I'm a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, fair enough. That's why we're talking about Wish. We're almost done though.
Right,
Star is like, hey, I have to go. I got to go back and be the star for other people to eventually wish upon. He gifts Asha a magic wand so she can continue to inspire people, becoming the Rosessa's fairy godmother. He goes off, and credits begin to roll. We get a great song. We get the characters from each and every...
No. When he goes off, he forms
He
the
does
Disney
form the
Ark
Disney Ark.
over
That
the
was
castle.
That was very well done.
And a Mickey Mouse firework goes off. I'm like, that's cute, but also like,
But also,
we
fuck
get
you.
it. It's a Disney movie.
Look, if all the other references weren't in there, I would have been like, fuck yeah. Now it's forgettable.
Yeah.
We
It
get
was
the
a little
credits.
heavy-handed at that point.
We get the credits. We get all of these different characters from different Disney movies. It's really, really fucking weird that the character that they used for Big Hero 6 was Yokai. But that's beside the point. And then we get
Yeah.
the
They
post-credits.
also don't do everything, like you said. Treasure Planet, nowhere to be seen.
They try to make sure that movie doesn't exist anymore. Final bit
Yeah.
here. The post-credit scene is the grandpa playing his like guitar lute. I think it's a lute. Playing "When You Wish Upon a Star" while looking back up at the stars. He gives us
His
a little
instrument.
chuckle. I'm like 90% sure it's a lute. But maybe that's because I've been looking
doesn't
at
matter.
lutes lately.
Movie's
Anyways,
over.
that's the end of the movie.
Please don't buy a lute, Griffin.
No,
Like,
I'm just looking at it for D&D.
you've already got a Keyblade. Is that not enough?
No, I'm not looking to buy a lute. I've been looking at lute designs for D&D stuff.
Oh, see, I thought you were going to go down the rabbit hole of learning to play the lute, which I would have respected the commitment to a bit, especially if it was for D&D, but
I have
it might have been a
considered
bridge
it.
too far.
If I went to Ren Fairs more often, I would absolutely do it. But that's
But
far
you
more
don't,
commitment to do
and
it.
we have talked for long enough about this, so we can probably wrap this up.
The last thing I want to say before we wrap this up is I do think that there are bits here that are good when it comes to the actual like references. I frankly don't mind Magnifico becoming the magic mirror and Asha becoming the land's fairy godmother. Those are not the ones I have an issue with. I think
No,
those
that's
make
fine.
narrative sense. It is everything else. Just how over the head they beat you with it. I really wish we could have seen the version of this movie that didn't have all that in it, because I feel like it would have been pretty good.
Yep. I'm with you there. It's hard not to have the Seven Dwarfs reference. So if like that is the only heavy-handed one they have to have, then so be it.
Even that's done well. Those characters are fun.
It's done well, and it's done well enough. I don't think it has to be as on the nose as it is, but it is what it is.
So yeah, if you're interested, go check it out. If not, this will be up on Disney Plus in a couple months. So, or honestly,
Just
our
watch
recap
it
is
in
pretty
40
good.
days when it comes. I wouldn't be surprised if this is up there for Christmas. I said the same thing last year of like something is going to come out at Christmas and be the thing that everyone watches with the family. This is going to be this Christmas's whatever that was last year that I predicted and got right.
Well, you don't want to go see Migration?
Stranger World? No. Had to have been.
I'm referencing Illumination.
No, I don't. Carmen loves Illumination, so we're probably going to end up having to go see it.
Carmen is disappointing me today, and I feel like you should tell her that. But I'm just
She
kidding.
loves
Don't tell her that.
Illumination. Like her favorite version of the Grinch is the Benedict Cumberbatch Illumination version of the.
That is fair. That is great. I just vehemently hate the Minions. With that said, let's wrap this episode up. Mitch, where can people find us if people want to keep up with our shenanigans? And for some reason, they want that
At
after
D
this.
plus us, all the places. TikTok, YouTube are probably best, and then you can find us on anywhere else that social happens. We just don't use it very much.
We'll get
if at
better
all.
about it. Maybe,
I gotta.
probably
That's
not.
my New Year's resolution: is be more social about the podcast.
Be more social about the podcast. Yeah, it's always
Will it
awkward
happen? Probably not.
talking about the podcast with other people. Of course, folks, this is not the only thing we have up right now. We have plenty of episodes up. Trailer reacts, yada, yada, yada. Our latest episode was on the Marvels. Go check that out if you've seen the movie. Go check out Go check out the Behind the Attraction weekly series and check out the Percy Jackson one when that one inevitably starts. Will I be rereading every single Percy Jackson book to get a type for
Did
that?
you say go check out the Vine?
I said
like,
go-
I thought Vine was dead.
I did not say Vine.
Why are we on Vine, Griffin?
Not a single one of those sentences
I'm
was
very
Vine.
tired if that's what I heard. That we should just All right, we gotta
I
kill
said
this thing 'cause I'm
behind the
hearing things
attraction.
now.
Go check those out. Yeah, we will be doing a weekly series when Percy Jackson starts in a couple weeks. Get hyped. Thinking like 2.5
Yeah, we'll
weeks.
do that as soon as we wrap on the behind the attraction stuff. But we'll probably just push.
We're
those
probably
out
just gonna push
hit
behind the
Percy
attraction
Jackson
to-
start date, I'd imagine.
Yeah, so go check all that stuff out. We will see y'all in the next.
I can sit
episode.
down and record 4 at once, and we'll just put it out. It's fine.
But until then, have a magical day.